Welcome back. Jeremy Corbyn's speech isn't necessarily going to be well received by everyone in his party, including, I suspect, my next guest, Kate Hoey. Very warm welcome to you this Sunday morning. So what do you think Jeremy Corbyn is going to announce tomorrow?
Well, I think Jeremy's had a very difficult job because he's trying to keep the party together and, more importantly, our supporters out all around the country. So I think it may not be as seismic as some people are suggesting, but I worry that he is being pressurised by a lot of people. For example, the 80-odd who've signed that letter today about staying even in the single market. Mm-hmm. And those are mostly people, if you look through it, who really did not want Jeremy to be leader and are sort of part of the last remnants of the whole kind of Blairite project. So I'd be surprised if it shifts too far, especially as we would then be going into the next election saying that we don't want to have our own trade policy. And I think that would be very important.
Is that for you the key thing that's wrong with a customs union?
Yes, I don't understand how we can have a customs union that would still give us the freedom to be able to make our own trade deals. And when you think that how long it's taken the EU to get trade deals, and they still haven't got them with India and with China and America and all of those, and yet we would be saying we're kind of half in, half out. And it is that growing group of people now who know that we're leaving, hate the fact that we're leaving, and want to try and find a way where we can be leaving, but in name only, and staying in all these other little bits that still gives the EU control, which is what people wanted. They wanted to take back control. Very simple.
I mean, the response of Keir Starmer and others, of course, to that point is to regularly brandish data around that shows that, for the next few years at least, the bulk of our trade will be with the European Union. So why not prioritise that over an ideological commitment to removing oneself from a supranational organisation?
Except if we're looking long term, our trade is going down with the European Union every year. And of course, even the European Commission have said that 90% of the growth worldwide in trade will be outside the EU. So we would, this is a real opportunity, I think, for us to show that as a great country with the language that unites us right around the world, with our justice system that countries like, that we can actually make a huge, huge benefit of leaving. But if we kind of half leave, half in, half out, we're not going to have that benefit. And I think Jeremy understands it, because I think what Jeremy does understand, and John McDonnell, is that the way we treat developing countries, the trade policies that discriminate against them and to sort of protect Spanish oranges or whatever, that I don't think people want to see that happen. I think they've accepted. Many people were very disappointed, and I had my own constituency. Many people very, very disappointed we voted to remain. But if we're going to do it, we have to do it properly. And the EU will not I don't think the EU will want to have that kind of...
Still, though, there exists the possibility that after Jeremy Corbyn's speech tomorrow, yours will be the minority position, that there'll be a majority in the House for a softer Brexit, closer alignment and so on.
Yes, I mean, I've never made any bones about we're in a minority within the Parliamentary Labour Party. But, I was up in the north just a week ago.
Perhaps even even in the House, actually.
In Parliament. Well, I don't know, you see, because I think when it comes to the crunch, will people really want to defeat their own government on the issue which can actually be said by some people to be going against what people have voted for? And I haven't seen any sign when I've been around of people really changing their mind. I don't think there's many people who voted leave who are now saying, well, we've changed our mind because we've read these economic forecasts that were also wrong before the referendum.
Do you ever feel then that you're in the wrong party? I mean, you've once again been censored by your CLP, not on Brexit this time, of course, but do you ever think you might be happier on the other side of the chamber, sitting next to Peter Bone?
Absolutely not. I've been a member of the Labour Party for years and years and years. I've been an MP for 29 years. I've more or less stayed the same in my politics, and I've seen people go way past me to the right and way past me to the left. I'm a kind of common sense politician, I think, and I genuinely believe that this country will be better off leaving. And I think also there's an extremely good left-wing argument for leaving the European Union. I think it is an organisation that does not actually care about democracy. So I'm very comfortable. You get used to being censured, but...
Yeah, well, indeed, but the reason the CLP condemned you this time, of course, was your view of the Good Friday Agreement. Why don't you think it's sustainable?
Well, no, I mean, I really think that the two things are completely different. And Ruth Dudley Edwards wrote a brilliant article about the Good Friday Agreement, and some of us agreed with that. But it's nothing to do with Brexit. It really hasn't anything to do with Brexit. And I find it quite shocking that Tony Blair is coming out almost implying that if we don't stay in the customs union and we don't stay in the single market, that somehow the men of violence will be back. This is so, so irresponsible. And people like David Trimble, who really did do the work to get the Belfast Agreement, actually are saying quite clearly that they negotiated a Good Friday Agreement which had nothing to do with economics, which was about peace, constitutional issues. And all I was saying really was, if we go into direct rule, which it looks like we will, then that's an opportunity to look at whether the mandatory coalition can work long term.
But there isn't an easy solution to
no,
the issue
there's
of
no
the border,
easy solution to it. Well, there are practical, technological, modern solutions, and the Republic of Ireland government should really be putting their mind to that and working with us rather than looking like they're there to protect the EU, because the EU is not interested in actually helping to make sure that we get a good deal.
Kate Hoey, many thanks for being with us.
Thank you.